with the top news across the campus of Marshall University in the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, JMC TV presents MU Report.
Hello, and thanks for joining us for the second edition of MU Report Spring 2024. I'm Austin Johnson.
And I'm Emma Johnson. MU Report is a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. And we create content within an organization called JMC TV. You can catch this broadcast anytime on YouTube. Now, our lead story.
A building on campus known for its safe atmosphere is providing students basic needs. East Hall is helping students of different backgrounds succeed.
East Hall, a building located next to Holderby Hall, has aimed to create a safe place for students on campus for years. Joining me over Teams is Director of Student Success, Katerina Sheree. She says the goal of East Hall is to create a living room where people of all backgrounds can come together and hang out.
The Intercultural Center has dedicated beautiful, furnished, gorgeous rooms to populations that may very well want a specific room honoring their identity. LGBTQ+, international students, and I say Society of Black Scholars, but it's actually the Center for African American Studies. All those rooms are built to honor those populations and recognize their contributions to the Marshall community. So they celebrate identities, but they don't restrict access on identities. Anybody can go in those rooms.
She says the building has been a spot for students to lounge, complete assignments, and study. She says it's important for the campus to have a safe place for students of different sexualities, race, and religion.
There's always snacks. There's comfortable places to kind of curl up if you want, like make sure you have comfortable pillows. And it's meant to foster a sense of belonging. All three of us are driven by desire to remind every single student that they are important and essential, and Marshall wouldn't be the same without them.
Katerina says East Hall, this building, is a place for all students on Marshall's campus, and she hopes to see more students utilize the building. Austin Johnson, MU Report.
With the semester in full swing, students are having to do homework, study for tests, and still maintain a good sleep schedule. As Morgan Pemberton reports, students are struggling with their sleep schedules while also balancing studying classes and having a social life.
Sleeping habits are a factor in college students' lives, and for some, not getting enough affects their relationships and schoolwork.
Yeah, I'm a junior here at Marshall, and I get terrible sleep. And with that, it hurts like my relationships and like my work here at Marshall. Like I can't be as intentional with my friends and my family and what I'm involved with. And recently I've been trying to sleep like a baby, so that's helped a little bit. But yeah, without sleep, I'm not the person I want to be. But yeah.
Yeah, I think just with homework and classes and work and all this stuff, it just adds on and I can't get enough sleep. I'm getting home at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night every single night, and then have to wake up at 7, 8 a.m. every single day, and it's just, I'm not getting enough sleep.
Long school days weigh in on how much sleep students get at night, causing them to go to bed later than normal.
Okay, so my sleep habits and schedule, like usually I end up like going to bed after midnight, like at 1 or 2 in the morning, and then happen to wake up at like somewhere at like 8 or 9. So sometimes like at least 7 hours, sometimes not.
For all college students, the delicate balance between college, work, and social life leads to many students not getting the recommended hours of sleep at night. Morgan Pemberton, MU Report.
Drab weather and longer nights can make a student's mental health decline. The winter months can often be a hard time for many. As Joseph DeCristofaro reports, seasonal depression can take a toll on anyone.
With the winter months in full swing, many Marshall students face a decline in their mental health. With the sun going down in the early evening hours, seasonal depression can creep in.
Seasonal depression affects me as a college student very heavily because being back on campus and trying to get back into a schedule is really hard, especially with different kinds of weather and it being cold out.
While seasonal depression and the change in weather can make students end up like this in bed for most of the day, there are some ways to brighten one's day even when the skies are gray.
I'd say one thing that really helps me feel better when it comes to seasonal depression is I like to work out, I like to be attentive on my schedule, and also be in a good environment where the point where I'm bettering myself each and every day rather than being in a slump and staying in.
Being around my friends really helps, and being able to find different things to do around Huntington is also really helpful. I like being able to go out with my friends and go out to different restaurants and try new things out, especially during the cold weather when you can't spend time inside.
With drab weather and the stress of the semester growing day by day, it is easy for seasonal depression to creep into a student's day. However, staying active and utilizing some of the university's resources, such as the Wellness Center, can bring those struggling some peace. Joseph DeCristofaro, MU Report.
Cold air has turned Marshall into a flu zone for many so close to the start of the semester. As Trevor Smith reports, students are on high alert to avoid getting sick this flu season.
As the cold and flu season on Marshall's campus progresses, its troubling side has started to show in students.
And so if you miss a class, you miss that day's discussion. And it also just puts a lot of stress because I have to meet with the professor to catch up on missed material.
With our classes, have to use our voices and stuff a lot, and then we have to play instruments so the germs can spread really easily. So it's not fun when you're going to like a vocal class and you've got a cold and a scratchy throat, because it can sound a little rougher than you'd like it to.
For me, it throws off my schedule. So like when I get sick, it puts me pretty far behind in all of my classes and all of my work and my job.
Students say that the possibility of getting sick keeps them on edge.
So it's always damaging, and it's always this looming threat in the back of my mind of I might get sick or who is sick around me.
Safe spaces like the Student Center are also seen as high-risk areas.
During lunch hour at the Student Center, it gets very crowded, and it's hard to stay away from people to not catch their germs.
We have to play a lot of instruments, so I feel like it definitely spreads a lot easier. And then in places like the Student Center where you're all crowded at the same time for lunch and everything like that, it definitely can be a lot easier, especially with just a bunch of crazy college students.
Even runny noses and sniffles are unwelcome by students.
Sniffles definitely distract me. It also just distracts me when I sniffle because I'm constantly either having to blow my nose or sniff to clear the snot.
While I perceive it and I can block it out, it always has me worried, like, is that person sick? Am I going to get sick? So it's always like, it's the threat of the sniffles that get me, not the sniffles themselves.
The Center for Disease Control guidelines state that all persons over the age of 6 months old need a yearly vaccine for the cold and flu, while also remembering to wash their hands and use hand sanitizer when in contact with other people. Trevor Smith, MU Report.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our director is Emma Gallus and our producer is Brea Smith. Our newscast content is generated by us, students of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications.
MU Report is a television lab and we are glad you are watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube and be sure to follow us on Instagram, JMC_TV for all updates. I'm Austin Johnson.
And I'm Emma Johnson. Have a great day.